This motorcycle is an addition to the Benelli portfolio. It's the Leoncino 500 and it came about in 2016, yet really hit Europe in 2017 and possibly even 2018. So what can we tell you about this bike? It's a liquid cooled 500 cubic capacity motorcycle. It's an 8-valve 4-stroke parallel twin engine which produces 48 ponies at a 45 Newton meter torque range when running at 4,500 RPM. Other factors to take into account: ground clearance is 185 millimeters or 18.5 centimeters. It has a wheelbase of 1 meter 45 centimeters and a seat height of 815 millimeters or 81.5 centimeters. Dry weight is 170 kilograms, but obviously when you add fuel and oil, that'll probably go up to 185. Fuel capacity is 15 liters with a 3 liter reserve. Now for the even more techie stuff. Front wheel travel is 5.3 inches, 13.5 centimeters, and rear wheel travel is 14.5 centimeters, 5.7 inches. It has dual 320mm floating discs and obviously ABS as standard. The rear disc is smaller at 260mm and has only 2 piston calipers. Obviously the front being dual has 4 piston calipers. About to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Let's be honest, real bikers take a little interest in these types of specs, but really what they're interested in is how it rides, how it feels, how it looks on the road. So let's not waste any more time and let's hit the road. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm not sure if my voice is being recorded in this video, but let me begin by saying good afternoon world. I came back to one of my bikes, which is a Benelli Leoncino 500, and not having started it for 2 months, and in my haste I didn't actually take the battery cables off, so the battery was a little weak. It wasn't completely dead, so I've charged it up. I am taking it for a spin and I will be doing a little review of this bike, because this is a really attractive bike. Hell, all bikes are attractive, there's no ifs and buts on that front, but this one is a neo retro bike. It's a cafe racer that's had an infusion of a scrambler put within it, so it's a cafe racing scrambler. There are 2 versions, the Leoncino 500 and there's the Leoncino 500 Trail. The difference from my analysis, and I can't confess to having a very deep and thorough analysis, but I did look into both. One has alloys, which is this one, and the Trail has spokes. The Trail is slightly taller on the seat. I think it's something like 3 centimeters, possibly less, and that's the difference. There's no other difference. Possibly there may be some more room to maneuver on the front forks and the rear suspension, or it's adjusted for the Trail, but I'm not 100% sure on that front. That could be just me reading something about another bike and adding it to this one. So that's basically the difference between the two. They look really attractive, like most Benellis do. Benelli, if I can tell you a little bit about the company was Italian. I say was, it was sold to the Chinese
And I'm not really saying that's a bad thing, because Chinese, what they did was they retained the facade of the Italian bike. They've made sure that all their bikes under the Benelli brand still look Italian. They still look as though they're from an Italian manufacturer. And so, you know, that's pretty good. They've kept the integrity of the company. What they have done, which does bode well, is that they manufacture this in China. So the cost of manufacturing is a lot less than it was when Benelli held the reins in its entirety. So what they do with this particular bike is they manufacture it in China, and then they send a shipment over to Italy, who then go through the quality control procedure, check everything is according to the Benelli name, and then it's sold on to its final customer. And that's how it works. So I think they've got it worked out quite well. Instead of letting the company die down, Chinese bought it, they kept the name, they kept the designs, they kept everything as it should be, reduced the costs of manufacture, and then shipped it back to Italy for review. So that way, when people do buy it, they know there is an Italian quality control as opposed to a Chinese quality control. I'm not sure whether there's a big difference in that, but obviously there are misconceptions and beliefs. So I guess for the Chinese, that was the best thing to do, and also the Italians, so that the Benelli name stays alive. And that's it really. That's the story of the Benelli 500 Leoncino, and in fact some of the other Benellis, but I can't confirm with all the other Benellis whether they come to Italy, but this one I did do research on, and it is confirmed. It's got power. Just nodding the head to let this car go. It's a 500cc motorcycle, so 500 cubic capacity displacement, 6-speed. It has coke because it's only 170 kilograms. So that, for a bike, I think is quite light, really. I will give you the other stats about its compression, bore, its wheelbase, and everything else when I park up. But for now, I just want you to enjoy the ride.
I hadn't actually given you the bore and compression ratio. So bore by stroke is 69 by 66.8 millimeters, and the compression is 11.5 to 1. Now I feel so much relieved that I've given you all the information that I promised I would. Enjoy. So what's my conclusion on this bike? Now you have to keep in mind, this is my personal opinion. It's not set in stone. Different people will feel differently about this bike. Right, for the taller person, because I'm 6 foot, it's a little short. But you can get away with that because it's not one of those bikes you take on an extremely long distance ride. It's nippy. It looks very snazzy. Do they still use the word snazzy? Oh, well, I am anyway. Right, so in terms of things that could be improved, it should have come with a little wind shield as standard. It doesn't have a USB port, which I mentioned in one of the notes. It looks good, it feels good, it's good on the road. Suspension, as I mentioned in one of the captions, is not so great. It's good, but if it's supposed to double up as a trail bike, then I think the suspension could be a little more softer, because you do feel the slight jumps and bumps on the road all the way through your spine. What else? Fuel efficient, it rides well, engine has a very unique grunt. I remember my GSR 600, my Suzuki GSR 600, having a very unique sound. I'm not saying this sounds like a GSR, but it does have a very unique sound. The engine is pokey, it packs a good punch. Overall, I'd say as an A2 compliant bike, it's a great bike for somebody to start off once they get their A2 license. There aren't many out there which have a unique charm, a retro look to them. This one has it in abundance. Not only is it retro looking, in the same breath, it's also very modern, and it feels modern when you ride. So, all in all, it's a thumbs up from me. What do you think? Drop me a comment. Tell me what you think. If you have one, share your views on your ride. And if you don't, tell me, is it something you'd consider? So time for me to switch off. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. If you enjoyed, please do like the video, and please consider subscribing.